Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome into Morning in the Valley. Glad you are with us. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, long holiday weekend. My kids somehow got 4-day weekend out of school, but the rest of us grown folks, hopefully you enjoyed your 3-day weekend and glad you are with us today. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk with Murray State junior guard Halli Poock. I believe, if my memory at least is right, on both sides, the men and the women, just 3 returning all-league players for both the men and the women. And on the women's side, 2 of those 3 come from the reigning and defending Missouri Valley Conference champion Murray State Racers, both Haven Ford and Halli Poock, both junior guards. And we'll talk with Halli. Got a chance to catch up with her yesterday afternoon. She's in class right now, so of course that's going to take a little bit of priority over this silly show. But I got a chance to talk with her yesterday afternoon, and we'll have that conversation coming up in just a few minutes. If you haven't done so already, please head over to YouTube, search out Morning in the Valley. If you're not watching us there already, subscribe to this show for free. Just subscribe to the channel. We've got all our past shows, interview clips, and all that, but you can like, subscribe, share, comment. All of that helps us continue to grow as we continue to grow. Now just 61 days away from the start of the college basketball season. 2 months from today, November the 3rd, amazingly enough, it will be go time. Feels like the spring and summer, thankfully, kind of evaporated, and football season is here, but basketball right around the corner, and cannot wait for that. All right, headlines of the morning today, and we start at Murray State, and we talk about the first commitment in the recruiting class of 2026 for head coach Ryan Miller, as he has gotten a commitment from Navon Shabazz out of Davenport, Iowa, a 3-star by the recruiting services prospect in that class of 2026, plays for the Iowa United Prep team in Des Moines, Iowa, committed back to Iowa. And head coach Fran McCaffrey last September, of course, McCaffrey fired at the end of the year, now a head coach at Penn. Ben McCullum obviously decided he didn't feel that there was a match there with Shabazz. So Devon went back into the opened up his recruitment. And since May, had offers from Penn, as you would expect, the coach that he committed to originally, who's now a head coach at Penn. But it was Penn, Seton Hall, Buffalo, Bowling Green, UIC, Purdue, Fort Wayne, East Tennessee State, Kennesaw, and Murray State. But the 6'4" guard has decided he will be a racer. Ryan Miller and his staff offered him back in May. Fast forward about 3.5 months, and now what Navon Shabazz says he is coming to Murray State. Scheduling news, and this is sort of the reverse engineering scheduling news. Middle Tennessee officially announcing their schedule, which, again, a lot of these pieces we already knew, but it's just now all in, I would say, black and white, more blue and white there. As Middle playing 3 Valley schools this year. They will come to Evansville on November the 12th. They'll play Murray State down in the Cayman Islands November the 23rd, and then December the 7th, they will be in Murfreesboro at the Murphy Center, taking on the Belmont Bruins. The thing that jumps out to me looking at it, which is kind of just shocking for, a school of that level, there in Conference USA, 3 non-D1 games, 3. Milligan, Webster, Cumberland, 3. That feels like at least too many for Middle. But that is how their schedule is coming out. Bart Torvik projections have them about a 148. So for Murray State, you're looking at that's a quad 3 game on a neutral site, hosting Belmont. It's 148. It's like it's middle of the pack. You hope they've been better. Middle's one of those teams that it's like they are really good, and they're an NCAA tournament team, or they're just not. Like there's the ups and downs with that program have been pretty fascinating over the last 10 or 15 years. So hopefully, at least from a metric standpoint, they are on the upswing this year and can help our 3 Valley teams. Middle Tennessee, 3 Valley teams. Valpo, they've got a new addition. And they have signed Keontae Thomas out of Chicago, 6-foot point guard. He is a grad transfer. And we have talked a lot about the July ads, the August ads. I think this one was just under the gun, August 31st. But a late addition for Roger Powell's bunch. as Thomas comes in. He's played 4 years at the NAIA level, 3 different schools, but he's been an all-conference player in those 4 years, 1,300 some odd points, more than 500 assists. And so he is a solid piece to bring in late as a piece of point guard depth for Coach Powell and the Beacons. And sort of the interesting thing for me about Keontae Thomas and just sort of the other notes about his biography that Valparaiso put out is that he's a very good bowler and apparently high score 278. So, when they get into those team building exercises here throughout the late summer and early fall, at some point, the Valpo basketball team will go bowling. And I'm going to have to imagine that Keontae Thomas, the last addition to this Valpo roster, will be the number 1 draft pick of everybody. There'll be a lot of wheeling and dealing trying to make sure Mr. 278 is on their team. But welcome to the Missouri Valley, Keontae Thomas. Valpo's women have released their non-conference schedule. Courtney Boyd's first season with the Beacons. And this one is, I really, the part that kind of jumps out, just 3 home games against Division I teams. You get 3 home games, 3 neutrals in an MTE at Cleveland State, and then 5 road games. But the majority of these games, of the 11 non-conference games, 8 of the 11 are against Quad 4 teams. 1 Quad 1, 1 Quad 2, 1 Quad 3. And that's going off numbers, again, from last year and their net ranking. And look, usually this is, I'm going to be, we're trying to get good schedules. We're trying to get, we're trying to boost metrics for the league and so on. And I'm okay with all of this for Valpo. I just am. I mean, they have had 1 winning season in the last 16 years. They have had 1 season in the last 16 years. They have won more than 13 games. That was back in the 2019-20 season. So 6 years ago, they went 17-12. But it is this program as a whole, this team, brand new team, first-time head coach at the Division I level, so many new pieces on the team. They need some confidence. The program just needs some confidence. And you need to be able to go out and get some wins. I mean, Milwaukee, SIU, Edwardsville, Central Michigan coming in, all Quad 4s. 7 of the 11 non-conference games. Again, counting, looking at the net rankings from a year ago. Their net rankings a year ago were 250 or worse. So, I mean, they are getting games that they have an opportunity to go and win. They've got a road game at Iowa State. They're going to go to DePaul. They're going to this Cleveland. That's the Quad 1 and Quad 2 games. They're going to this MTE in Cleveland State, which is really sort of the Cleveland State Invitational, as I believe their number was 1. Let's see, I had it scribbled out. 113 in the net last year, and hosting Radford, who was 306, St. Bonaventure 337, Valpo, who was in that 300 range as well. So, but it's an opportunity to go get a couple neutral site wins as well. But I am totally fine with this. I have no notes on it as much. Just go get some wins. Go trying to get some confidence. Look, she's got. This is a program that lost their top 4 scorers last year, led by Leah Ernest. I mean, it was top 4 gone. They are bringing back 7 kids that actually saw action and scored last year. But those 7 kids account for just a third of their scoring. It's a bunch of kids that average 2 points, 3 points, 4 points a game. They're going to get their opportunity along with all of the newcomers. But this is a season of building, and it's kind of like let's break it down a little bit and try to build it back up. But going out and getting some confidence for them and being able to try to get some wins in the non-conference before you get into conference play, into Valley play, I think is very important for Courtney Boyd. So I'm all in on that schedule for her. The Southern Illinois, they will be playing the men. They are headed to Jacksonville, Florida to play in the Jacksonville Classic. That is according to our friend Rocco Miller from bracketeer.org. And this is a unique event. I think in the end, this is a 10-team multi-team event that is not, from what I've been able to piece together working backwards, it's basically everybody that's there, those 10 teams, you're going to get 2 games. Who you're going to get them against is still yet to be determined by the folks at the Jacksonville Classic. The 10 teams that are in this alongside, the 9 teams, I guess, alongside Southern Illinois, you have Abilene Christian, Delaware, Georgia Southern, UAB, UNC Greensboro, UTEP, Texas San Antonio, William and Mary, and Youngstown State. This event feels, on September the 3rd, that it feels like in the game of MTE musical chairs that the music stopped, and this was the catch-all to grab everybody that didn't have a seat at any of the other events. Obviously the MTE world has changed a lot. Some events that have gone from 8 teams down to 4, some events have disappeared altogether. High majors not interested in playing them anymore. It has changed. But this is kind of just a hodgepodge. There's no tournament. There's no brackets. We're going to get you 2 games. Come on down and play at our venue. Murray State played in this venue last year. It was the Jacksonville Classic, which I think at the time had 6 teams. It was like Georgia State and Austin Peay was there and UT Arlington. Off the top, that's all I can remember. I do remember that was the situation where Murray State out of West Kentucky played Texas Arlington out of Texas, and they had to go to Florida to play the game because Murray State could not get could not find a 31st game. And so that was the workaround of, we will fly to Jacksonville and play you the day before your event starts there at the Jacksonville Classic. It's played at a junior college. I mean, it's essentially played at a high school gym. Locker rooms are tight. Like, there's not a lot of amenities outside of its sunshine around Thanksgiving in Jacksonville. It's an interesting event. We'll say that. But the Salukis, hopefully it's judging by the Torvik projections, it's about on neutral sites. Half the field sort of quad 3 games, half the field are quad 4 games. So SIU in that quad 3 realm, but I would hope that they're going to get the best games possible, which would be Abilene Christian, UAB, UTEP, UT San Antonio, William and Mary, or maybe the worst teams as well. Whichever one. I don't know what the best case is. In the end, they're middling games in this event, and it's just kind of, I think that's what happens when you're just trying to grab onto an MTE. Look, all MTEs are a challenge, and that's not. I think there are very few teams that are in MTEs this year. They're like, man, we really like what we've got, and we've liked the opportunities we have, just because this used to be the venue where you could get a big boy and you get an opportunity to get him on a neutral floor, and just nobody's getting those anymore. So, but SIU, Thanksgiving week, it'll be 2 games somewhere between November 23rd and 25th. Matchups haven't been announced. Dates haven't been announced outside of, we know, the 23rd to the 25th. It'll be, they will have 2 games during that time. So SIU headed to Jacksonville. Speaking of Florida, Murray State's women have found out they are headed to the Daytona Beach Classic, which we knew on Friday when we told you they released their schedule, but we had no days. We had rough dates, but we had no opponents. Didn't have even like a pool of teams to choose from. But in the end, they have found out they'll be playing George Mason on November 28th, and then Boston College on November the 29th. And Rochelle Turner, got a chance to talk with her yesterday. She had told, when they got into this event, she's like, look, you want to pair us with power schools? We'll play anybody. Just put us in whoever you want. And they got one. You get Boston College out of the ACC. You get George Mason, not a power school, but really good. And last year, their net, they were 45th. Boston College was 74. So, if those hold, you got a quad 1 opportunity in George Mason. You get a quad 2 in Boston College. Boston College, if memory serves, literally clean the deck, have a brand new team this year. So that can go one of 2 ways, obviously. But playing in the ACC, they're going to get plenty of metric boosting. So that you would hope they would be top 100 on a neutral site there to be a quad 2 game, get in the top 50. It's a quad 1. So 2 good opportunities for the racers. I like these events when you play on back-to-back days. And even though it's a couple months away, it's as close to, it's what you're going to face in March when you get to the Missouri Valley tournament and you've got to play back-to-back, potentially 4 games in 4 days. But just in terms of having to play, recover, prepare, and come right back out the next day and play, I think that is a good thing to learn. So I like that opportunity there for the racers when they head to Daytona. Speaking of the racers, Rochelle Turner has picked up commitment number 5 for her class of 2026 as she has gotten Allie Linky, a 6'1" wing out of Mount Prospect, Illinois. This one they worked on for a little bit, offered her back in May of 2024. But in the end, especially with the late pushes from teams, she's had offers in the last 3-4 months from Evansville, from Belmont, Northern Illinois, UMass, Western Michigan, North Alabama, and Vermont. But Allie Linky will be a racer. Prep girls hoops in Illinois had her ranked as the number 6 prospect in the state in the class of 2026. So we have seen this from the transition from the Ohio Valley to the Missouri Valley. Rochelle Turner knowing she needs to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you have guards, and we're going to talk with Halli Poock in a minute, at 5'6", and Haven Ford at 5'6", bringing in those wings now that are north of 6 feet tall. That is she knows she needs size to be able to compete in the league. And that has been really the number one most important thing they have been doing in the recruiting cycle the last couple of years since they've gotten into the Valley. And Allie Linky is the most recent example of that. Again, number 5 on the recruitment commitment side for 2026. And it appears, at least from the freshman side of things, incoming freshman side of things, Murray State is already done for 2026. So good on Coach Turner and her staff for getting on those kids early. All right. Time now to welcome in our guest, another Murray State guard, the junior guard, Halli Poock, who, again, 3 players in the Valley last year that earned all conference honors are back this year. 2 of them are from Murray State in both Haven Ford and Halli Poock, both junior guards. Of course, Halli was a third-team All-Valley guard her freshman season at Bradley, transferred to Murray State, where last year part of the number 2 scoring offense in the country, averaged 17 a game, and helped the Racers not only win their first Missouri Valley Conference regular season championship, but also getting them into the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2008. So Halli in class right now. So we got a chance yesterday afternoon to talk about last year's amazing season, the summer that was, and looking ahead to the 2025-26 season. So here is my conversation from yesterday with Miss Halli Poock. Halli Poock, welcome to Morning in the Valley. How has I guess we're back into school? How is the student portion of student athlete going so far?
It's been going good. It's been going good. Get back to the swing of things.
So a finance major. What are the hopes and dreams of a finance major 10 years down the road? What are you doing?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I could go do some in loans, do some in a bank. You could do a lot with it. So I don't really know yet. But
how did that sort of all the majors in the world to pull out of the sky? How did we decide we want to get into finance?
I like money. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. I just have always kind of been interested in numbers and stuff like that. So,
well, good. All right. Well, the basketball side, lots of numbers when you're on the number 2 scoring offense in the country. Year 2 with the Racer program, just how different was this summer for you rather than maybe trying to get acclimated to everything a year ago?
Yeah, I feel like it's obviously been just a lot easier because I've already been through it with this program one time. I think last summer, just trying to find my footing with the new program and the new system and everything. And so I think this summer's been really good for me, especially in a leadership aspect. Like I've been able to kind of be more of a leader and be vocal because help the new guys a little bit because I know what's going on a little bit.
When you joking in coach's office today about leadership and so on, I mean, you lost some pretty significant pieces off last year, and kids that had been there, especially one particular one in Caitlin Young that had been there for 5 years and was not only the focus for all the opponents, but she was the sheriff in a lot of ways. How has that changed in the expectations of you? How have you handled all of that this summer?
I think honestly for me in Haven, it's just been a big adjustment. Like everyone's kind of looking towards us. And so just kind of trying to be that calming voice when we haven't really had to be, especially last year. And because Caitlin kind of took that role more than anything for us. And so I think that's honestly been the biggest adjustment for both of us, just kind of being the one people look at and we're like, oh shoot, you're asking us. Like, so just figuring that out and navigating that through the offseason has been good.
getting to be a part of this program and getting to play in the system. How did last year go for you? I mean, just from diving in the summer, and I'm sure it was overwhelming in a lot of ways, but once you got into folks trying to stop you and all that, and not a lot of folks being able to throughout the year, how did the whole thing go for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in the beginning it was adjustment because just coming from another program is obviously super hard, especially how fast we play as a point guard is a big adjustment. And so just that, but honestly, we had a lot of talent last year, and so I think it was like it's not very common. It was really special, like how talented our 4 or 5 kids were. So plus our role players that came in like off the bench and stuff, and they all we were really talented last year. So just navigating that and kind of, I mean, it was, it's a blessing to have that many people that can contribute. And so all the pressure wasn't on one person every night. And so I think navigating that was really easy with the team we had last year.
Do you remember a point last year? And look, everybody, when you start the season, it's like, we want to win a championship. That's on the wall and everybody wants to do it. But the league was so good last year, and you guys had a little bit of a blip in the middle of the year. You missed a couple of games, and you lose one at Missouri State, and you guys lose at UIC, and now you're kind of playing from behind a little bit. But do you remember the point when you thought, we've actually got a chance here? Was there any moment specifically?
I think we kind of hit the panic button a little bit again. Like after UIC, we were down like 17-2 first quarter in Valpo, and then went to UIC and lost. And so then I think we were kind of like, that was our regroup. Like if we want to do it, we got to do it now. And so I think just the focus on that. After we won a lot of tough games after that, our back was kind of against the wall. So we won a lot of tough games after that. And that's when I kind of realized, like, I think we got it, because I mean, our back was against the wall, to say the least. So
you guys win at Northern Iowa for the first time ever. You win at Drake for the first time ever. You being an Iowa kid going back there, how much of an added significance was that to you to be able to?
I mean, obviously it's super special for me being from Iowa, but I mean, I grew up watching them run the MVC, and so I mean, they still are really good teams, but so just being able to beat them, especially on the road, was really big for us. I think that kind of showed. That was also the point that we were like, okay, we could be pretty good this year.
You go to Indiana State and you win a regular season title. How much of a justification? I don't know if it justified your decision, but maybe reaffirmed your decision of, I think I picked the right place when I was looking for a basketball home.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the wins come with it, but for me, it's the people here. Like, I've built so many good relationships with every coach, all the kids, so all the players. I mean, those are some of my best friends. So I wouldn't say the wins justify as much, but it was a good cherry on the top. So,
was there any other choices for you? I don't maybe need you to name drop schools, but when you get into the portal, look, you're a freshman, you're an all-league kid right out of the gate, coming out of Bradley, and was there a decision really to be made, or were you kind of leaning in Murray's direction right out of the gate?
Yeah, I mean, I had a few options, but honestly, I didn't like the stress of being in the portal. It was stressful, and so I mean, I came on a visit. Murray actually recruited me out of high school. It's Coach Turner's favorite joke that I canceled the visit, and so I knew they had always like had interest in me, and so it was my first visit, and I committed on the way home. So
it wasn't really a joke though, because you did cancel the visit, right?
I did.
How hard is that? Like, as a 17-year-old who's trying to make this giant decision, and it's hard enough that I've made the decision. I'm choosing Bradley and I'm going there, but whether it's Murray State or any number of schools that have offered you and that are kind of on that final list, how hard is that phone call to those other coaches? Because I'm sure some kids are like, they can read about it on Twitter, I'm not going to bother. But how hard is that to break their hearts?
It's definitely hard, because like you built relationships with all them too, and so I mean, having to call and say I picked a different school is not the funnest conversation, but it's the right thing to do. So.
Part of the business. There you go. To win the regular season, obviously one thing. To be able to go and cut down the nets in Evansville in a just kind of a wild weekend with some crazy games. And the first game with Bradley no problem. But then things got real tough real fast with Drake, and you're able to hold them off. And then you've got Haven with one hand that's all Frankenstein, and you're able to, win going away against Belmont, and just to be able to cut the nets, all that. Just what was that whole weekend like for you, being able to accomplish the dream?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a fever dream. I feel like for 3 days I didn't take a breath, and so I think that was super fun. Yeah, it's probably the funnest 4 days of my life, probably. But just coming back, even like winning and going to the selection show, it was like we were on cloud nine. But I think honestly, like, we played the best basketball, and it really mattered. And I think that was at the tournament, so it was a lot of fun.
Is there one highlight of that Sunday? I guess it was, obviously you win the game, but then it's like, all right, hurry up and get on the bus because we got to go flying back to Murray because we got to be on ESPN because we're going to be on the selection show and all that. Was there any one maybe behind the scene thing that stands out from that day?
I don't know. We were taking pictures in the locker room, and Coach Turner's like, "Come on, guys, we gotta go. You guys are missing." Like, we're like, "Oh my gosh!" But it was fun. We were like taking pictures, and Turner was yelling at us to hurry up. So that was funny.
She can be impatient. It's happening. You wait your whole life to go to the NCAA tournament. You work your whole life to go to the NCAA tournament, and then you get to go. And look, you're playing your home state school, and that's all in what. But I guess just the experience from sitting down, at the arena, and you're watching your name pop up on the screen to hurry up, we got to get on a plane, and we're going to Oklahoma, and you're getting free stuff, and you're all that fun stuff that. Did the experience live up to the hype in your brain that maybe you had built it up toward? I know the result wasn't what you wanted, but just the experience as a whole.
Yeah, I think obviously that's what everyone dreams about, making it to March Madness. And so that was super fun, especially getting to play against Iowa because I'm from Iowa. Obviously, I wish the game would have shook out a little bit different, but we would have performed a little bit better. But it was all super fun still. Good experience.
So you've done it once.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to do it again, right?
Yes,
I mean,
that's the goal.
Like how quickly are you able to move past it? I think it's something that I don't think that fans maybe necessarily understand that, whether you lose by 30, whether you lose at the buzzer and whatever. And sometimes fans really hold on to that pain and heartbreak, and it carries them on from year to year. Players seem to we're just on to the next. How long does the disappointment of the way the season ends for you stick with you before you're able to kind of turn the page?
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably stuck with me for a week or two, and then I was kind of like, well, we did accomplish a lot and had a lot to be proud of, and so you couldn't really let that one game shadow all that. But yeah, that was for me. And then we came back and had spring workout, so they made us move on pretty quick from it. But it really hit like once all the new kids came for summer, and I mean, we have a whole new team, this year. And so just focusing on what we need to accomplish this year and being grateful for last year, but knowing that we're trying to do the same thing. So
how many times has Rochelle Turner said last year is over? Has she had to say that, or does everybody just understand it?
There's been a few times. There's been a few times. Yeah, for sure.
How, I guess throughout the summer, what has been your priority? I want to get better at this. What has that been in the last? I mean, it's been 6 months now, almost. Since
yeah. I think obviously being a better defender. It's always something we're gonna play a little more defense this year, so it's something we all got to get a little bit better at. And then just the leadership aspect of it. Like, we lost a lot, like you said, and so just being that leader and calming voice on the court when our team needs, especially with all the new people we brought in this year. So
when you have all these new faces and you're trying to get them, they're all where you were at one time. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a first-time college athlete, but I'm a first-time college athlete, but I'm a first-time I'm playing at Murray State in this psycho system where everything goes 100 miles an hour all the time. From that leadership, how much of it's going to be okay do you have to kind of pass on to your teammates?
I mean, a lot of the conversations, especially with Gabby, she's a freshman point guard. And so a lot of it's been like, girl, we've been there. Like, it'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Like, she's like, you guys just haven't figured out. We're like, oh, we did it. We haven't always. And so I think just trying to help them through that, especially with our experiences, sometimes like I mean, I was there last year, like trying to figure out the system, even though I'd played college basketball for a year. And so I think that's been super helpful for our team this year.
Do you prefer playing on the ball or more off the ball? I know you and Haven Ford have kind of
I don't know. Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it both.
Do you think the system will change this year? Just that you don't have that sort of North Star in the middle where everybody's eyes are on Caitlin all the time.
Yeah.
And it's more guard and speed stuff now, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of it will be more guard oriented just because, like, I mean, obviously we don't have Caitlin attracting 3-4 people in the paint every time we pass the ball. And so I think a lot of it will be just more getting the guards open, still flowing through the post, but playing a little more defense this year because it'll be hard to be as efficient as we were last year. So,
can you score more? Like, how does the system get better in your eyes offensively?
Score more, try. Yeah, try to score more. We'll see.
How do you do it, though? I mean, is it just you just got to make more shots? We just have to, you know, I mean, you make as many free throws as anybody in the country. Yeah.
Speed them up. Play a little more defensive. We get more stops. They score less, and yeah.
All right. All right. Non-conference schedules out. Anything on there that caught your attention that you're looking forward to?
I mean, all of it, honestly. I think South Dakota State will be a really good matchup for us. They've been obviously the best mid-major team for a really long time, so I think that'll be a good challenge for us. Obviously, Illinois is a big school. We got a lot of good teams that'll challenge us, so I'm excited.
Going to the beach at Thanksgiving.
That's fun. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fun.
I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well,
we're looking forward to that.
And that's just, Coach sort of said that was requested. So I didn't know if now in the leadership role, if you're like, hey, I want to go to the beach. So
I didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you the floor to say anything nice you want to say about Rochelle Turner right now, since I know she.
I love her. It's okay. She's a little angry today, but she's good. We love her.
Fair enough. Who was Halli Poock away from the basketball floor?
Oh, I like to hang out with my friends, watch some Netflix, goofy. That's about it.
Then count your money. Count your imaginary money that's coming.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Halli Poock, junior guard, Murray State Racers. Thank you very much for the time. We will talk soon.
Thank you.
All right. There was Halli. And just to be clear, I don't need anybody misinterpreting anything about her relationship with Rochelle Turner. Those two are, I mean, it's like Abbott and Costello. Let me see if I could. I just made myself sound like I was 112 years old, but it is an absolute comedy routine when those two are together. Just the needles getting thrown back and forth, and the part about Coach Turner being grumpy yesterday. Halli was. I don't know if debating, because that would mean it was kind of both ways, but sort of a like, hey, if I came in grumpy, you would jump me. But if you come in grumpy, it's okay. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the way it works as a player coach relationship. But just one of the great guards in this league, and now we've had a lot of great guards here the last couple of years in the Dinnebeers and the McDermotts, and we can go on and on around the Valley. But two of the best are in Murray, and I'm really fascinated to see how the system, the fast-paced system, looks this year. When you had a 3,000 point scorer in Caitlin Young sort of in the middle, and Caitlin had the ability to step outside and shoot. She'd hit those trail threes, and that really was a weapon for that Murray State offense. But with her gone and not part of that, just part of the rotation anymore, obviously, with her graduation, just how much faster does it get? How much different does it look? Can it be better? And as Halli said, it's going to be more guard oriented, just that you're going to have a lot more 6'1" wings out there and kids that can get out and run. And I think it's going to be different. And I'm fascinated to see how that progresses this year. But Halli Poock, a heck of a freshman year at Bradley, a heck of a sophomore year at Murray State, and now going to try to lead the Racers to back-to-back conference championships this year. All right, we've got a little administrative news out of the Bloomington, Normal, Illinois area, as we have a new director of basketball operations. His name is Ethan Morton, and Coach Ryan Peden has hired Ethan. First promoted Jack Betts, who was the director of ops. He's now been promoted to chief of staff for Coach Peden. But Morton comes after a 5-year playing career, played 167 games in 5 years, first 4 at Purdue, part of a national championship game. Last year was at Colorado State, and now he comes to Illinois State to get his coaching career started as the director of basketball operations. And hey, let's wrap things up today with talking about the NCAA and talking about lawsuits, because isn't that fun? There is a new lawsuit that the NCAA is trying to fend off from a Vanderbilt linebacker by the name of Langston Patterson, who is leading a class action lawsuit against the NCAA, saying that, look, as things are, and things have gotten wonky the last couple of years with COVID years, and we saw last year Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback, who had played a year at the junior college level, had sued saying, look, junior college isn't Division I, so I should get an extra year of eligibility. He won that for everybody in the non-Division I, non-NCAA. There were some more waivers that had to be done for Division II and III and so on, but JUCO, NAIA kids were able to get an extra year of eligibility back. Now, obviously, the main crux of this is these kids want another year in college, that if their careers don't pan out the way they hope, where, hey, I'm going to the NFL, NBA, whatever, that I'm getting a 5th year of eligibility. So I have an opportunity for another year to make money in this NIL revenue share world that we now live in. There's no mystery behind that whatsoever. The NCAA, forever, it has been, you have a 5-year window now to play 4 years. And that 5th year was so you could be redshirted because you weren't going to play, a medical redshirt, or once upon a time, so you could transfer. And when you had to sit out for a year, that gave you that 5th year, but you were only playing for 4 years. Now, obviously, you've seen some 6th-year kids over time that were able to maybe redshirt, and then they had a medical redshirt. They were able to apply and get a waiver to get a 6th year, but 6th years were rare. Now we have reached the point where 6th years feel like it's everybody. 7th years. Justice Hill, who played at Murray State from 2020 to 22, pre-Valley days, but was part of the last team there that went to the NCAA tournament in 22, has just received a waiver. He's going to play. He's got another waiver to play football this year. After he played at Murray State in football last year, got another waiver. It's his 8th year. So 6, 7, 8, like at this point, kids just want to stay forever. And again, part of it is just money. That it's like, if I can get paid here, look, we'd all love to stay in college forever. And if we can, now we're being paid, why go get a real job type of thing? Let me just stick around here as long as we can. Now, so this lawsuit, this class action lawsuit, Langston Patterson, Vanderbilt linebacker, basically saying this is illegal. This is restraining me from having the ability to earn. So we like the 5-year window, but I should be able to play for 5 years. So that's what's going to court now. And how this is going to play out, time will tell. We have seen some discussion over the last couple of months with all the NCAA meetings and so on about the 5-for-5 rule, where it was just like, look, we're done arguing about waivers and this, that, and the other. It's just, you get 5 years, you play 5 years. We don't care where you do it, how you do it, whatever. We're just throwing our hands up and being done. That didn't gain a whole lot of traction. Now, Patterson and his legal team, along with this class action lawsuit, trying to force the hand of the NCAA, saying, I need my 5 years, and I want to be able to play for 5 years as well. For what it's worth, Patterson's attorney is the same attorney that represented Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback who won that lawsuit to get his NAIA year or JUCO year thrown out so he could get an extra year playing for Vanderbilt. I have always been pro kid in this. I have always thought I thought they should get paid. I thought that, I've been relatively okay with they should be able to transfer and not sit. Especially when they graduated, and that was the rule. If you graduated and then you were a fifth year grad transfer, you didn't have to sit because you have fulfilled your obligation as the student portion of the student athlete. And so I thought that was, I thought that was fine. Obviously, there have been unintended consequences with the paying of players. That this, yeah, with the general lack of guardrails to it. Obviously, this was just going to be a bleep show from the jump, and may have been unintended consequences, but probably should have seen all the consequences. And I'm probably a moron for not having had the foresight to see just what a ridiculous situation this is in so many instances. You get the House settlement, which tries to put some guidelines and guardrails on things. But of course, everybody there are going to be so many people that still color outside the lines, that, rules, what rules? That's kind of where we are. I guess as I read about this lawsuit this morning, my initial thought on all of it is this is where there needs to be collective bargaining, and the kids need to be employees. Now, I don't know that we need to have the kids be employees. I don't know that we need collective bargaining, but with this piece of this lawsuit, if it was going to go and bear fruit and it was going to become a thing, it just feels like there needs to be some give and take in all of this. And what has happened from an athlete standpoint is through the court systems, through all of it, it has been take. I don't know where the pendulum has swung back at all away from the players, because I don't think it has. They can get paid. They can transfer every single year to another school, never have to sit out. They can seemingly apply for waivers and just play forever if they want. It has just, everything has been in their favor. And my just gut reaction to this is, what are the players giving? What are the athletes giving? And the answer is nothing. And that's where it's like, this is a situation where it's like, it is prime, where the best course of action would be collective bargaining. To be like, look, okay, you know what? Fine. You can play 5 years. You get 5 years, you can play 5 years. We get it. It's fine. But you can only transfer once. Or if you transfer once, you can transfer as many times as you want. But if you transfer a second time, now you have to sit a year. Like, there has to be some give back. And I don't know how this judge is going to rule. I don't know how much legs, teeth, whatever you want to, body part you want to attach to this lawsuit, if it's got any real possibility of being applied. But it is just, I think maybe the one unintended consequence of everything look, we knew when the money was involved, things were going to get crazy. I think the unintended consequence has been guys just doing everything they could to just stay in college now as long as they could. Because why wouldn't you? Diego Pavia, if you're a quarterback in the SEC, you're making 7 figures if you're a starting quarterback. There's just no question about it. And if you are, playing basketball somewhere, and look, even if you're making 6 figures, you're like, do I want to be a 6-figure, $100,000 student athlete? And I almost hesitate to use that phrase anymore. They're just players. You want to be $100,000 player and keep going to school where you have basically no expenses, and I'll do that as long as I can. And so the solution to this would be collective bargaining and making these athletes part of a union. We know that's not happening. There's no school that wants it to happen. The expense on that would be exorbitant. Now you've got, you're offering insurance, you're offering all kinds of things to employees, and that's just not, that's not going to happen. But this has been a very one-sided avalanche of just legalities that have NCAA has just given and given and given and given, and not because they wanted to. And a lot of times their hand has been forced, but the players have just taken and taken and taken. There's been no pushback the other direction. And this is the one where it's just like, I just kind of feel like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Play your 4 and go. Let the next group of guys come through. But just having all these 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, 8th year guys playing college sports is just, it's bananas, and it's not what it was intended for. And, I get that, you feel like you're missing out on opportunities to capitalize on your brand and so on. But you know what? Lots of guys retire from the NFL and they go open car dealerships and they capitalize on their brand, and they're not playing their sports anymore. So go capitalize on your brand somewhere else and make some money somewhere else. But if you want 5 years to play in a 5-year window, I firmly believe there's got to be some give back from the athletes. And I just don't know that there's any to be had. I just don't know if there's any to be had. So I'm a thumbs down on this, but I guess time will tell how this lawsuit rolls along and what the ultimate, I'm sure we are nowhere near the finish line on that, but we'll certainly keep you posted as we roll on. All right, that does it for this Wednesday edition of Morning in the Valley. Glad you were with us today. Thanks to Halli Poock, Murray State Junior Guard, for being with us. We'll be back on Friday, as always, at 9 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here during the off season. If you haven't done so already, please head to YouTube, search out Morning in the Valley, and subscribe for free. Share, comment, like, all that stuff, and help us continue to roll on here at Morning in the Valley. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. Hope, my kid's finally back to school today, so I know we're all on day 2 of our work week, but glad you were with us. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you Friday morning right here on Morning in the Valley.